4:36. It is May 20th. Getting ready to do the recap. Recap. No? Phil, can you guys see the no video? I think I gotta log you guys off and log you back in. Hold on. Hold your horses. Sorry about that. RAA. I gotta get everyone connected. Let's see where we are. Okay, let's see. Sorry about this. Can't believe today's only Tuesday. Doesn't it feel like a Thursday? Test radio, test radio. They hear me there. Let's go to the virtual cam. All right, now I think we're good. It's 4:36. It's May 20th. Been a day. Let's see, Monica. Do you have the dog? No screen share? Really? I just logged out and logged in. No, you were good. Okay. Anyway, everyone read the disclosure 10 times already. All right, guys. So definitely a choppy day, but I guess it made a little bit of sense considering yesterday you had a big down open and everyone wasn't sure what was going to happen. Were we going to, absorb the weakness or not? Everyone was kind of calling it quits to the rally, and then we rallied yesterday, and then it felt like everything was ready to go, and then today they kind of just settled them down. Settle down, little doggy. But anyway, so what happened here? We just kind of hung in here. When it looked good, they were sold. When they looked bad and looked like they were ready to break, they held in there. All in all, so far we're digesting. The 8 days catching up. And if you didn't look at any of the action today, you'd have said, wow, no, build a nice little bull flag. Look, things look fine. Some would say digesting. Some say exhausting. It looks right now more like digesting, but we'll see. The Qs also. Make this a little wider just to give you this low because that 515 is not as important. This now is 514.25. Ultimately, building a high level consolidation in the Qs is pretty healthy, right? Hanging in there. I don't like to have wordage. I like to save some of these so in the morning I could, tell you where the futures are and tweet it out. So I just give you like a little bit of a picture and you can kind of see it yourself. I will say the XBI was very impressive today. We talked about you could be long versus 76, and if you are, we'll be coming into the downtrend once again. Will we fail at that downtrend? I don't know, but some people are making money here. What's down 7 hours? Take two? Sorry about that, plug. Glad you didn't bring it up so no one else has it with you. Just saying. But again, sorry for you. Anyway, that's XBI. All right, let's move on. So what's, Tesla was obviously, a name in play. Some people are like, hey, red dog, that's a red dog reversal. That's true. That is true. It got through 51, couldn't hold it, and came back in. We'll see what brings tomorrow. I'm long a little bit of the TSLL. I actually traded some calls into it. Worked out pretty well. I did a call spread and then covered, but we'll see what happens tomorrow. I thought Elon did a good job. He wasn't frazzled. He wasn't crazy. Just a lot of traders always like to sell the news. No matter what happens, they sell the news that day, and then the next day you get to really see, what the real move is. So we'll see what the real move is tomorrow. Once, the fast money does what they try and do, I thought Faber did a good job interviewing him. Pretty good. So as of right now, they kind of sold the news. So we'll see. Does it hold here? Does it trap these? I guess we'll find out tomorrow, right? They try and always say, sell the news. Well, they tried to sell the news in Google, and they did a little bit better job. Does that mean game over for Google? I don't know. It's still hanging in here. I thought the presentation was pretty good. I thought the new features were pretty good. I thought they were talked out. They did everything. They did everything right. Besides name one of their things deep sync, which I was like, what the hell do they call that deep sync or deep think, whatever the hell it was. Isn't that, what Baba has? But anyway, they're charging $200 for the new AI. Yeah, maybe they want it to be a premium. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I'm a dumb technician. I'm not a smart fundamental analyst. All I know is it looked pretty decent. It's not like we're up here and and it was priced in. It's been down here. It's been in the same, there are a lot of little patterns in here, obviously, that we navigated in Google, and there's been lots of micro waves, and we always do it on the micro side. Remember this inverted, and then here was your wedge gapped up and then missed, and now it kind of, it's doing a whole lot of nothing. So if this wants to play catch up, I think it's going to take a few, like a day to rebuild and then a day to forget and go. But we'll see. That's why I bought, I stayed with the 170s for, not for this Friday, for next Friday. So we'll see how it plays out. You know, for the fast money to leave. I did make some money in Google itself. I sold it well. I sold it prior to the event, so that was nice. And I sold some other calls, but I'm down in this. I have a decent amount of size too, so we'll see how that goes. So, they always sell the event, and then the day after, you kind of get what the real move's going to be. What's the real move going to be? We shall see. Oh, it's interesting how you can like look back at a chart and see all the different ways you played it. All the memories, memories, like the corner of my mind. What movie was that? Who knows it? Come on, I'm doing it with the Alpha team. Everybody knows this movie. What movie? Come on, Maddie. No, no, come on. Memories, at the corner of my mind. Dun-dun-dun. That's the song, but he sang it in the big. There you go. When he was trying to show his mom that he was really the boy in the big in the big body. Yeah, someone find that link. I'll play it. Anyway, it's all right, Maddie. I won't hold it against you. But memories. There you go. So Google. What did Microsoft do? Still hangs in there like a champ. I don't even know why I haven't played this. I should have been playing this since earnings. Not Amazon and not Apple. Both of those kind of sugar honey iced tea. But this looks like it's on its way to new highs, which is still strong. Apple, I guess, you could say it held. I'm not even going to save this chart. The 204 area, so it's still kind of building here. Amazon, guess you could say it held also. You might as well just move this down now because that's more of your point of reference. So these are holding. Still holding. So I guess you could say that, right? Netflix, what'd you do today? All I saw is everybody buying puts still. I think, not to make fun of anybody, but everyone just keeps buying more and more puts in Netflix. And it just keeps going up. And I'm not saying I'm making any money here because I've been just, putting the chart in here and giving you guys levels and giving a roadmap. Sometimes I'm called Red Dog the Roadmap. I like to be Red Dog the Trader, but sometimes I'm just Red Dog the Roadmap. I have enough stuff going on here. But anyway, looks good. Looks like it's ready to go again. It's kind of crazy. Crazy. What else is in? Did I not go over in Mega Cap Tech? Went over Tesla, went over Google, Amazon, Apple. All right. Uber was kind of tricky today. I totally forgot. I have to apologize. I totally forgot that when Tesla does their event, they might say something with Google. And for a while, Google and Tesla were trading like, they were coordinating an algo where they would buy Tesla and sell Uber. And anyway, I did sell a bunch of the Uber into strength, and I had shares. Just for right now, just to let it play out, I bought more options, and I sold my shares, and I'm gonna stick with it. Didn't do a whole hell of a lot here, so it's still fine in my opinion. Just has to get through this little emotional algo trade, but it probably will. So I went out again another week, and I did the 95, so it's a little cheaper, right? Which ones do I have on? Uh-oh, someone's saying Palantir. Does that mean it's going down? Nope. Okay, good. So what is, where are we at? I am tired. Red Dog. 6.6. Oh, wow. I went out further on that. I got rid of everything else for now. There. Just to give it some time. Dash was really good. Dash I actually bought in the hole. Again, made some good money. Feels like it's ready to continue. Got to take out 206, and then the next level is 215. Very interesting. Nice move. A lot to like there, Anyway, Reddit's a piece of junk. Sorry. Ever since this day, I got really hurt. It's a piece of junk for now. Yeah, Palantir, I think, is holding in. It's got a bull flag. I don't know if it's going to be like a fake ad. I don't know if it's going to be predatory, but all in all, if this wants to trade well, meaning like you get an 11 versus 6, and you pull a face card, and then he pulls a 2 and then gets a 10 and you win, That's what this looks like. Maybe not 11 versus 6, maybe not 11 versus 7. But, or you pull a crap card and then he turns over a face card and busts. So this looks pretty good. Um, in that area, something's going up for me. Oh, I think it's Bitcoin. I bought some Bitcoin on the dip. Oh, and Tesla's going up a little bit too. But anyway, so Palantir looks pretty good. Something I'm trying to stay with. Nvidia looks good. Nice bull flag. This also looks like an 11 versus 6 where you get a nice move. It's turning into a bull flag, and I shouldn't be talking gambling, right? Maybe king and queen same suit. Whoa, on is playing poker. Right? That's what this looks like. You know what red looks like? Red looks like you're playing poker and you try and go in with like a 7 and a 3 because you have a lot of money or something. I don't know. To pay to see if it fills the gap or not with a shit hand. Anybody poker players out there? Yeah. I was one of the best poker players on Wall Street. Anyway, that's what they wrote. So if they wrote it, it's true. Anyway, Jimmy Mint plays poker. I could tell. What's going on? Something's going up. Red dog. P&L's going up. Oh. The bull. The bull's going up. And so is IBIT a little bit. I gotta say, Red Dog's did a pretty good job. People like Red Dog, you're not into crypto enough with, you're not talking about the altcoins, you're not talking about this, you're not talking about that. I'm like, I've been pretty on top of Bitcoin ever since the turkey trot, right? Where was the turkey trot? Down here, the 100,000 dash, the 100-yard dash to Christmas. And then right here, we over focused on it. And I think we've been in it pretty well in here all the way up. And now it seems like you take out the high. So I'm hoping everybody, is doing okay there. Doing okay. Let's see. Red Dog likes a little confirmation. Like, you're doing all right. How'd I do with IBIT? We do all right? We did okay. Anyway. Scott, it's really difficult following your positions while you're buys and sells. No one knows what you really have and how much. We guys put out a little private chat and talk about that. All you know is I'm long IBIT. How much I have, I've had it on, I don't know, since Bitcoin broke above 87,000 in some capacity. Sometimes I add, sometimes I take it off. It's about the idea and the trend. You don't need to know how much I have or how much I'm taking off. So anyway, so you must be new. This isn't a tell me service. If you want, you could get power plays where I tell you what to do, I take it off, and then there are stops there. Okay, I know all my positions. I hear you. Hold on a second. Actually, I can. Let me call this guy back. You in 10. What you really need to know is when the position was put on, and then you read the chart and read the language, and show like bull. You see a sell go off because it's trading at 1240 after hours, and I bought a little bit too much on the dip down to 1220, but I'm still net long bull. I didn't have bull yesterday, so that means I accumulated it today. Had options from yesterday, but not the stock. Nvidia, I can't even walk through the whole thing, but it's all right. How long have you been here? Jay, let's see. Let's have a little powwow. Jay, how long have you been on the VTF? How much is my AUM? Or this guy's? Oh, so see, like right now I just sold a little bit of the bull because I had a little bit too much in the hole and it's going up after hours. It just went up whatever. Jay, are you still there, or am I moving through the recap a little bit more? You want to see that chart? Why? Okay, so you go here. Bull doesn't look like much, but it just just went up from 1220 to 1244, and I bought a bunch in here, so you can look at the timestamp. All right. How long is how long is a long time? 3 months, 6 months? Because if you've been here for 6 months, yeah, okay. So it probably took you some time to figure it out. There definitely was a tricky time from, I would say right around, let's see here. Hold on. Let's see. I'd say we probably had a bunch of paper cuts here and there from like, this area down from March. This was tough. And then right around here is where I think we all started to, get it a little bit together, caught a little bit of the bottom. This was a great trading day. If you remember, that was when we had all the calls for that, the whatever it was called. It was, for the auction that went. And then I really think come here is where we started an active sequence where pretty much since April 23rd to here, I've been consistently in the right names, making good money, and it's been working. So, if you were long this much, are you are you the first? Are you trading better the last 2 months versus the first four, Jay? I was long and thought a V shape, but didn't it make a higher low? Didn't we go back and make a higher low on this day? Right here? Didn't we make a higher low? So it was a V. We hit some resistance. I thought maybe we'd come back to the lows. We came into here. Things started acting better, and I think this is where we got long. This is where started to have a bunch of positions on. Right? All right, so you've probably been shorting this in some capacity. Or, yeah. But anyway, what I would suggest is, either take a step back and, go with a lot less positions, or I would sign up for power plays. Power plays also gets a little streaky, but when it works, at least I'm telling you what to do and how to do. Like today, we took off Dash. Dash, I said to Mike, Mike, when did we put Dash on? Okay, so Mike is my editor. He runs power plays. He said 193.70. I'm like, all right, at 203, 10 points higher, sell a third. So at least I'm telling him when to buy, where the stop is, and where to sell. So, we have Uber on. We have Apple that's a little under. Dash was good. Palantir was great. We have half left. IBIT's been on since, I think, 50. And then, some of the options are working and some aren't. But anyway, I would just, give him more time. It's been not the best, trading environment, but there are probably guys who are near the highs of their year. Is anyone near the highs of your year? Anyone? Okay, Sweeney is. How long you been on the virtual trading floor, Sweeney? Zach, how long you been on? Anthony B. Anthony B, that's good, because 5 years. Did you kill it in the first 5 months? Did you understand every red dogism there is in the first 5-6 months? Tom Flake 7, Zach 1.5. All right, that's good. 2020. Yeah. How about somebody that, yeah, Zach, you've been here a year and a half, so you've probably seen some of the good sequences and some of the bad. So you're probably, more than someone who's been here for 5 years, who's definitely, reaped the benefits for when things are really awesome. And then sometimes there's bad luck. Like I might have 8 positions on, and you might be in 2, the ones that aren't as good. Okay. My capital? I think I could trade up to 10 million. What's your capital? And if I get in trouble a bunch of times, I say to trade support, could you could you turn off my risk, for the day, because usually something happened. And I rarely use all of it, but I am also the chief strategic officer, and I also, could call up and say, hey, I need more. So a lot of guys can't do that. But anywho, I'm not getting into. I'm just letting you know more about me. So you want to, learn more about. It's just again like this isn't a tell me. This is like a guide. This is how do I get in this office every day and try and put my head together, make my, my charts, know my level so I can execute, and I package it in a way with a great team like Amber and everyone else to, to put in there. So you guys could read the charts. By 8 o'clock, there's 40 charts. You could read them. You could write down your points of references. You could, figure out which ones you like, which one is on your game plan. So maybe it gives you some confidence. Maybe other people like what I'm doing, so they do it also. Maybe you're bearish and I'm bullish and it makes you think a little bit more. You're bullish and I'm, overly hedged, then you're like, oh, we must be overbought. So there's everything you could take out of this. And maybe it's not for everyone. And every now and then we get into a good sequence with a few good names that are actually trading well. But with that said, hopefully, you've been here for 5 months. Did you sign up for a year, or are you done in May? Jay, by the way, this is also a recap. So this is more like a webinar versus a recap. Okay, well, I'm not gonna keep everyone here. All right, let's see what Lily says. Scott, when I started, I didn't read the charts as much. I didn't understand how valuable they are. Now that I've been here long, I really use them. That's cool. Just signed up for a year earlier this month. All right, cool. Well, listen, Jay, I'll try and be a little bit more vocal with you on when I get into a situation that I really like. And if I size up because it feels like it's ready to go and I see divergence and it's like the first hour of the day or the first half an hour, I'll try and really, really just, have a little bit more conviction, a little bit more wherewithal. Right. And sometimes guys bring up charts too that I'm not familiar with and I go with. All right, well then you're doing something wrong, I hate to say, Jay. I'm close to the highs of my year, and most other people are too. So you must be sizing wrong, chasing, waiting, need over conviction. So anyway, we shall see. Like Nvidia, the thought is this, right? You could be long versus 131. What's 131.68? That's a slow. You could be in a tier 1. What's your tier 1? You could be in 500 shares. If it gets above and stays above 136.30, where can it get to? It can get to 143. Okay, it's up to you to navigate that roadmap. It's up to you not to get too much size, not to do it at the wrong time, not to do whatever it is. But for me, I am in it. Remember here we were in it? Hopefully, were you in the 115s when that was going on? All right. Anyway, that's the package. Actually, this looks really good. Hopefully it hangs and goes and works. Palantir doesn't look as good, but looks kind of steady. Dash is pretty awesome also. I bought, I don't remember what down day it was, but one of these down days I bought the 210s, I think, for $1 and change, and I just sold them for 2 3/4. That was pretty self-explanatory. I think I even, where was that Dash? I bought some more this morning, I feel like. Yeah, I bought a 1007 this morning, and then I sold some. So I had dashed overnight. It pulled in to the 8-day, was down near 199. I bought some more, I think in $1.25. Right? What time did you see this buy? This buy in Dash, which I've been buying dips, was at 1007. Where was Dash at 1007? By the way, this is an out of sequence trade. Dash at 1007 was down here. So I got filled at Dash when it was 199. So it must have been lower. And then it took off and I got filled and I sold some into the end of the day at 2 3/4. Besides what I had overnight. That's got to be just a roadmap. Where would I put my stop? That's a tomorrow question. Depends on what Tesla does. Tesla to me had a little bit of a red dog reversal, so you have to be smaller. It didn't close strong. It didn't close with momentum. But I know sometimes Tesla, or sometimes on an event like an Apple event, they sell it. Then the next day they kind of trap it and go. So I'm kind of thinking it was a positive enough that maybe that happens unless the market's cooked here, which I don't think it is. They've done it to Apple and they're trying to do it to Google. So if it's hard if you have it overnight. It's hard to have stops. You can't have stops in Tesla, TSL overnight. I would say that this trade is over. If depending on how active you are, this trade would be over if it broke this. Just. It's not a channel to go to the upside. It's not a long channel up, sideways up. It's a up, fail. That's why here too, if you remember, with Tesla, just for instance, Some people were like, Red Dog, you got out of Tesla though the other, here. I did get out of Tesla that day, remember? Because to me, the trade changed right here when it went below whatever that price was. I remember it was like 279. So the trade changed. I said it could go anywhere now, anywhere. Got out. Instead, it held the bottom area. So this little wedge turned into a bigger wedge. Got above here. That's when I started to get back in it because it proved it could hold. And then this was your money trade add, and then sell some, and then this is when we bought more, and then sold some, and I haven't been in it until I think today or yesterday. Anyway, so there's a little teaching also. How can I rewire my brain to be permeable and stop missing my huge runners? It's hard. What are my thoughts of SPYs overnight? So I'll give you my thoughts. So here on the SPYs, I'm still comfortable shorting a few points higher. So the SPYs went out at, 592.5, right? So my first fade on the SPYs is up here. I went short up here for like 85 cents or whatever it was. So that means I'm really shorting the SPYs if it was at 596. Do I feel like it's definitely going down? Do I, no. So that's why I'm not shorting 592 halves and going home, short the SPYs. I'm also short the 596s. I wanted to give it a little bit more room. But obviously you see I have a lot of longs on. Okay, so in my head I'm like, if the SPYs do go above 596 and they're up 30 points tomorrow, I might lose a little bit on this, but that means I'm probably making money in my Google. I'm probably making money in my Nvidia. I'm probably making money in Tesla. I'm probably making money in Palantir, so I don't mind. But if we happen to, be down 20 handles, I'll keep the premium, and then I might be able to add to some of those names that have been strong, kind of like, hold on. Kind of like what we did the last 2 days, right? I had SPY hedges on coming into, the SPY hedge wasn't as good as being short the SPYs. If I was short the SPYs from Friday, if I was in my seat and I let it convert me short, we were down 6 points. I would have made a ton of money in the SPY short instead of making just a few $1,000s in the selling premium. So selling premium only gives you a little bit of a hedge versus being short. If you're down 5, I just get what I collected here. That's what happened to me on Monday. So that wasn't a great hedge. But when you're kind of hanging out and trending, this is a good hedge, especially if you could buy dips on the days you're down. Can you talk about buying in the hole versus cutting losses? Well, there's a difference of buying versus a level when the trade is the same, or if the trade changes and you have to just get out. Like to me, this uptrend would have changed on Monday if 585 broke or 581.50 the 8-day, and now that's moved up. So even like today, like the trade wasn't really over, but I was like trying to play around with Nvidia. Nvidia still, the trade wasn't over. They just wasn't ready to look a little bit better. So if you look here at Nvidia, Nvidia, the trade didn't change. What changed about this trade? It didn't get back below here. It didn't get below here. It had an inside day. Did it look like maybe, it was going to be faltering? It didn't. No, I don't even, I'm not that fancy, Daniels. I don't, I kind of just know when I have too many longs or up too many days, I got to start selling premium just in case we hold. I need to know when I'm kind of feeling like we're rolling over and going lower and I want to be net short and out of some things. I feel like when I'm trending and, when we were ready to come, for this day, if you remember in the SPYs, I was like, I'm not being short shit, excuse my French. Right here when we had that huge gap up, remember when we were right here and we were worried about China, I'm like, I'm not shorting any premium. I'll be long the 571 calls, and I'll be long, I think I was long the 561 puts saying, hey, I think the move will be big enough that, whichever way it goes, we'll cover it. So, and then I had a few things that I still liked. Yeah, I like Bitcoin a lot. I've been long this Bitcoin for a long, pretty much since here. I don't think there's been one time that I haven't been in IBIT during this entire trend. So even if you just said, I'm going to stay in it until he's out, I'm not going to use my tier system, you had to have made good money. And if you were in power plays in a bunch of it also. Something's going up for me right now. I guess is it Bitcoin? It is Bitcoin. So watch. So let me just say, like, so Bitcoin, if you go here, okay. So Bitcoin was down 20 cents, the IBIT after hours. So if you look here on Bitcoin, you'll see my last three were buys. So 4 o'clock I added, 4:02 I added, 4:06 I added. Okay. So if you go here to look at that, that was this is intraday, right? Or this just go 2 hours. So this is where we were up here. I trimmed some. So into this little spot, I was buying some 60 70s. So now it's at 60.91, you know, because it's back to where it was. I'll trim a little bit, and you'll see it'll go red. It'll say sell, but it doesn't mean that I'm getting out of it. It just means that, it pulled in 30 cents and I sold it 30 cents higher. I'm going to buy a little bit on, and I just wanted to, I just, figured I could buy some in the hole, and that I still think it's going to make a new all-time high. So that's me trading around it. But I've been in Bitcoin since 86, 87,000 with IBIT on there. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, it's 5:07. This has been a little bit of like a powwow / recap / pick on Red Dog, which is cool. You're allowed to pick on me, or question, certain things, which is good. So that's where it is. It's like what you see was what you get. It's good to know all these things generally. This is like I'm doing a little bit of like a how-to on what are the things that I'm doing. Now I just sold a little bit more, 91s, because I just sold in the 70s. So it's my second sell. But I added here, but you look at it, where was it? It was from overnight. Yeah. Anyhow, love you guys. Hopefully you had a decent day. Hopefully if you're off track, we'll get on track. Hopefully if you're near your highs, congratulations. I'd love to get to my highs too. I'm getting close. Hopefully maybe you just bought the Blood in the Street account with me, 2 tiers. And maybe you were able to do it better than I did, because on the buy one time they rallied and they shook me, and on the sell one time they brought it in and shook. Not me, my wife. But it's at an all-time high, and it's in all cash again, so it's going to wait. And everything else will keep going while we navigate what's happening here. With that said, I'll see you guys in the morning. Have a good night.